Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Hiring Our Heroes Virtual Career Community Industry Thursday. We're happy to have you with us. My name is Marnie Holder. I'm the Director of Career Summits and Virtual Events for Hiring Our Heroes. Before we get started with today's session, I did just want to make a few housekeeping remarks. One is this session is going to be recorded, and so it is available on our Virtual Career Community Hub if you want to get a recording of it or view it in its entirety. We also have all of our past recorded sessions that we've been doing since the end of March also on that website. So you can go there, Virtual Career Community Hub under hiringourheroes.org. Another little note, for those of you that are joining us participants, if you have a question for any of our presenters today, I encourage you to ask it in the Q&A feature. I know it's tempting to put it in the chat side, but we ask if you do want the question posed live to our presenters, put it in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. All right, since we do have a packed schedule and a packed agenda and lots of information to share, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kimberly Castillo, who is going to introduce our series of guests. Dr. Kim Castillo is the Assistant Director of Veterans Benefits Administration, Department of Veterans Affairs. Dr. Castillo, I'll let you take it from here.
Marnie, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to work with you, and thank you for the opportunity for us to come together to talk about the wonderful, exciting opportunities here within the VA, and specifically within the VBA. Again, thank you. So it's my pleasure today to introduce Ms. Margarita Devlin, the Principal Deputy Undersecretary for Benefits in the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. In this role, she is second in command in the Veterans Benefits Administration, which is the second largest administration in VA. VBA's over 25,000 employees deliver a range of benefits and services to veterans, including disability compensation, pension, fiduciary, education, home loan guarantee, vocational rehabilitation and employment, insurance, and transition assistance. VBA delivers over $118 billion in direct benefits to veterans and their dependents through a network of 56 regional offices and special processing centers. Ms. Devlin was selected for this critical leadership role in May 14th, 2018. As a member of the Senior Executive Service, she has led multiple VA programs. Over her 24 years of service, Ms. Devlin has led major organizational changes, challenged teams to greater innovation and accountability, and actively developed emerging leaders. A certified rehabilitation counselor, Ms. Devlin has a Master of Arts degree in rehabilitation counseling from the University of South Florida. She is from a military family. Her father was a Navy veteran, her brother is retired Army, and one of her two sons is active duty in the Marine Corps. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Devlin. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that kind introduction, Dr. Castillo. So really glad to be here today. Thank you so much to Hiring Our Heroes for the excellent collaboration. At the Department of Veterans Affairs, we know that we can't do these things alone. We can't do our best to help our veterans, our transitioning service members, and military families without the help of really important partners such as yourself. So thank you for the work that you're doing on this. And actually, Dr. Castillo, one minor update, which we need to update my bio. As of last May, it's been 25 years that I've been in the Department of Veterans Affairs. It's the most honorable mission, I have to say, in government. I know I'm a bit biased, but I love what we do, and we are an organization just full of employees who are either veterans themselves. About 60% of our employees in the Veterans Benefits Administration are veterans, or who are connected to veterans by being part of a military family. But the most important thing I just want to say is we have such a noble mission, and our employees are just so passionate about that mission of serving transitioning service members, veterans, and their families and their survivors. So we're very excited here to talk to you and hopefully to recruit some more members to this family. You may be familiar with our mission statement, which goes back to a quote from President Lincoln, where he said that we are here to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan. It is our calling. It is shared by all of us here in the VA, and we would love for others to come and join us and be a part of this amazing team who are serving the brave men and women who are currently serving and who have served our country. So during our time together today, we look forward to sharing how you can become a part of this VA family, and in particular to learn more about the VBA careers that we have to offer. We actually have some special hiring authorities as well that we are excited to be able to leverage, which enable us to non-competitively hire qualified transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses. Today, while there are many opportunities across the VA, and we hope that you, if you're a veteran or a military spouse, we hope you're looking for opportunities where you can serve the veteran community as well by joining our larger team. But in VBA, we really want to highlight, and I think you'll hear more about this today and throughout these events, we are looking to recruit into our VBA contact centers. And our VBA contact centers are sometimes the first point of interaction on many veteran benefits for our veterans and survivors. This is our call center where veterans will call us, and also our contact centers in person in our regional offices. Right now, we want to highlight a position that we're recruiting for, which we call the Legal Administrative Specialist, or LAS. And these are essentially our contact representatives. These are customer service agents who are hired and trained to help veterans. They start at about a grade GS5 or 7, and these roles for these employees are to help veterans when they call, help them with their claims, help them understand how to file a claim. They can also take a claim over the phone and put it into the system to get it started for the veteran. They also help answer questions about status of claims, about how do I work the claims process. They can help demystify it and help the veteran understand exactly what to do and what to expect. They also can help the veteran interpret some of the things that we send out. You know, with the federal government, there's a lot of legal criteria and sometimes it can get confusing. So we want to be there for our veterans to help them navigate the process and understand what's going on so that they can get the best value out of their benefits. So that's essentially what these individuals do. And this is also a career entry point in many times for VA. We train our customer service agents across the broad array of benefits. So if you come into our team at this level, it's a really good training ground. And a lot of these customer service agents move on to higher positions in the VA as they continue to advance their careers with the VA. So it's a really, really important job. In addition, there's a whole lot else that goes into the job. I think you'll hear more about this, but we are hoping to recruit many veterans and military spouses into these jobs across the country. And because we do have multiple locations across the country, sometimes we can help with transitioning families who are PCSing. If a military spouse has a job, they might be able to apply for and compete for positions in other locations as well. So I'm going to keep my remarks short and let the other presenters speak, but I hope that if you're out there listening and participating in this event, that you'll consider becoming a part of our VA family to serve veterans. So thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it, and I'll let you all get on with the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Really appreciate your participation today. All right, on to our next presenter, Kenesha Britton, who is the Assistant Director for Veterans Benefits Administration. Thank you. Kenesha.
Good morning, everyone. In every corner of America, there is a veteran seeking to file benefits, a veteran with a question relative to his or her claim or appeal, a veteran looking to apply for a home loan, a homeless veteran seeking hope and encouragement that tomorrow will be better. Our mission is simple, but one that offers prosperity and one that inspires. For decades, we have been fulfilling our mission to care for him who have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan. Our national call centers provide a channel for us to do just that. With over 1,300 agents, we service over 1 million veterans per year. As a Navy veteran with over 17 years of service in VA, I am proud each and every day to be part of this wonderful organization. Wouldn't you like to be a part of this winning team too, whose sole purpose is to honor the men and women who are America's heroes? I am soliciting today, so we are recruiting for GS 5 and 7 positions for our national contact centers. We have 8 contact centers located throughout the nation. With these positions, we do have 2 locations where we are currently hiring. That is in our Nashville location, as well as our Jacksonville and our St. Louis location. In front of you, you will see the open job opportunity that outlines the duties of the legal administrative specialist. Next slide, please. We do have a hiring event that is being hosted by Hiring Our Heroes that will take place tomorrow, July 10th. We will be highlighting our legal administrative position for that. And as indicated, we do have 3 locations currently that have open positions. Those locations are Nashville, Jacksonville, and St. Louis. We look forward to you being a part of this wonderful team. Thank you.
All right. Now it is truly an honor to introduce one of the VBA's success stories, Thomas Puente, who is a veteran himself. I'll let him introduce himself. Legal Administrative Specialist for the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thomas?
Good afternoon, everyone. As you can see, my name is Thomas Puente. I'm based out of the Columbia National Call Center in Columbia, South Carolina. We are the top call center last year and for the past 10 years. Just want to throw that out there. But I've been working for the VA for the past 4 years. I got hired in October 2016. Been answering all kinds of questions when you take the phone calls about claims, any kind of disability. Survivor benefits is another big one that doesn't get mentioned a lot. I kind of like moved from there to help mentor the new hires. And currently, as you can see, I'm part of the Solid Start program, which is a brand new program that the VA started. Columbia also has a program called Growth for Our Achievers and Leaders program, which is to help promote our professional leadership. So there's always room for growth there. I am retired military. I was a tanker for 20 years, and I didn't think being on tanks would qualify me for this job, but there's a lot of things we do in the military that we take for granted, and it's just a matter of transferring that language over to civilian side. Anywhere from any kind of paperwork, documents, working on computers and so forth. I think it's a very rewarding job. I like it because it reminds me of taking care of soldiers, and I continue to do that. And that's how I treat each caller that calls in. Treat them as like one of my own soldiers, and take whatever kind of needs they need and kind of guide them and take care of them. But it's a very rewarding job. At least here in Columbia, it's a very team-oriented. We all work together. It's we're all one family, and couldn't be happier to work here.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. Really appreciate that. And congratulations. All right. Now it is an honor to move on to our next success story with VA. Sharon McNeil is a legal administrative specialist for Department of Veterans Affairs. Sharon?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Again, it is an honor. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share. I am a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, 10 years. I have a graduate degree from Lincoln University in Human Services. I've been a legal administrative specialist within the Philadelphia National Call Center for about 9 years now. And I'm also the Women's Veterans Coordinator for the National Call Center, as well as mentoring newly hired veterans. I am amazed. I had no idea everything that the VA encompassed 9 years ago. I have learned so much information. I have met so many great people, and so much knowledge and compassion and empathy that has just been shared across the aisles, professionally and personally. I would not have it any other way at this particular point in my life. And it's just simply because I believe in what I do. I believe in serving our nation's veterans. It is truly an honor. Their families, their beneficiaries, the teamwork, cooperation, the professionalism, the passion, like it's unmatched. I came from a private setting prior to working with the VBA, and it's still nothing that compares to it. So as you listen to each and every presenter and you hear the information, I leave you with one thing, that you really, really open up your mind and look at how you see things. It is an awesome place to work. And I just have a quote that I just kind of go by every day. And if you change the way that you look at things, the way things look, the way the things, let me go back. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So if you want to make changes, if you want to grow, if you want to learn, the VA is definitely the place. In the National Call Center, first contact with veterans, beneficiaries, dependents, it's amazing. It is unmatched. It is very fulfilling. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Really appreciate that. Great advice and great quote. All right, next presenter, Monica Lacey is HR specialist from the Talent Division in Department of Veterans Affairs. Monica, I'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monica Lacey. I am a graduate of Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm the lead HR specialist. I've been in HR for over 11 years. I've joined the VBA November of 2019. I previously worked for the department. I've worked for the Veterans Administration, and I would just say I've learned, just within the short amount of time that I've been here, I've learned so much. I've worked for various agencies, and VA is near and dear because I love the fact that I am making a difference, with hiring veterans, and it is an awesome place to work. There is opportunities for growth. So VBA has been one of the best agencies that I've worked for. So just try to learn as much as you can, because you will definitely, you will learn and you will grow here. Thank you. So one of the reasons why I chose to work for VBA is definitely because of the mission. Our mission is to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. By serving and honoring the men and women who are American veterans. Another reason is because, the opportunities are endless. There's a wide range of opportunities and leadership positions at your fingertip. Now, personally, for me, as I've stated, I've worked at various agencies, and I've been impacted by the government shutdown. I've been impacted 3 times. So one advantage of working for VBA is that, VBA was not impacted. So which allows us to continuously provide for our veterans with support. Next slide. Another reason is because the VBA operates the largest, most technologically advanced integrated health system in the United States. VBA has more than 1,400 locations, including 153 medical centers, ambulatory and community-based outpatient clinics, nursing homes, veteran centers, readjustment counseling centers, comprehensive healthcare programs across the United States. Now, tell me what agency does all of that? Okay. So now I'm going to talk about the various hiring authorities. So there are special hiring authorities. We have the VRA, the 30% or more disabled veterans, Schedule A, disabled veterans enrolled in a department a Veteran Affairs training program in the Military Spouse Appointing Authority. So what is a VRA? VRA is appointment, it's a non-competitive appointment or a non-competitive authority that allows agencies to hire eligible veterans through the VRA program. That's your veterans that have a service-connected disability, and it goes to the GS-11. So who is eligible? So again, veterans that have a service-connected disability, or veterans that have been in the service that have received some type of campaign medal, expeditionary medal, or a campaign badge. So in order to be placed on a VRA appointment, non-competitive VRA appointment, documentation is required. Documentation that's required consists of your VA letter or some type of letter disclosing the percentage of disability, the member for DD 214, where it shows how you were discharged, and the SF-15, which is the application. Okay. And again, with the VRA appointments, it goes to the GS-11. Another special hiring authority is the 30% or more disabled veteran. And that appointment allows agencies to hire eligible veterans that have a service-connected disability of at least 30% or more. Who is eligible? Basically, veterans that have a 30% or more service-connected disability. 30% appointments that do not have a time and grade restriction, such as the VRA. So you can use it as many times as needed. And documentation is required. So again, with the VRA, with the 30% more disabled veteran, you will need that SF-15, your DD 214, and your VA letter or some type of letter disclosing your percentage of disability. Okay. Schedule A. Schedule A is again a non-competitive appointment that allows agencies to hire disabled veterans or persons with disabilities who have a severe physical, psychological, or intellectual disability. And documentation is required. Now, the documentation that is required is is a letter from a medical professional, rehabilitation professional, a letter from the state, well, the federal, state, or DC that provides disability benefits. And it basically just discloses or provides that, you are eligible to be selected based on Schedule A. So there's a form that discloses like the type of disability that may have, which is called the SF-256. And that information is needed with documentation as well. That we will need that information as well. So with the Schedule A, there's not a time and grade restriction as well. It doesn't, like with the VRA, it goes up to the GS11. With the 30%, the Schedule A, there's not a restriction. So one way that, well, let me back up. So these are the special hiring authorities. You can also, you can be selected non-competitively or competitively if you apply via USA Jobs, and that information will still be needed. So another is Special Hiring Authority. It's the disabled veterans enrolled in the Department of Veteran Affairs training program. So this program and this appointment allows agencies to hire eligible disabled veterans who have completed the training under the VA Rehabilitation Training Program and received a certificate. So who is eligible? Again, it's disabled veterans that have met the qualifications as described above. And the documentation required, again, is that, DD-214, your VA letter, your SF-15. And with this program, again, it allows you to receive that education, receive that training, and work under the VA Rehabilitation Training Program, and you'll receive a certificate after the training. Then you have your military spouse appointing authority. This allows agencies to appoint certain military spouses without competition. Now, this authority does not entitle the spouses to an appointment over another applicant. Now, who is eligible? Military spouses. The documentation that's required is the marriage certificate, the orders, DD-214, orders of the veteran, the DD-214, or the death certificate. If the spouses, if the veteran has died, the death certificate is required as well. Okay. So there are many vacancies that are open right now to VBA. The various, the various positions that are open include like a program specialist, financial administrative specialist, the veteran service representative, financial accounts technician, veterans, VSR, the veteran service representative, that is spouses of active duty personnel. Other positions include the loan specialty, parenthetical, realty, the supervisory budget analyst, the legal administrative specialist, the supervisory BRC, the loan specialist, the supervisory veteran service representative, and there are many, many, many other vacancies that are open. And as I've stated, there's a wide range of positions that are within the VBA. So the opportunities are endless. One thing that, one tool that we in HR utilize is what's called the resume mining. And what the resume mining entails is it's a tool that we can go to if we need to, for instance, if we need to fill a position very quickly. We will utilize this tool to search based on skill sets. So the tool is it's a system and it contains, it provides like applicants, applicants, whether they are, or candidates, whether they are like your Schedule A, VRA, 30%, anyone that that qualifies under the Special Hiring Authority. We'll utilize that to locate a candidate non-competitively based off the skill sets. Okay, so I will discuss the employee, the benefits of working for the federal government, VBA. So the first is FEHB, which is the Federal Employee Health Benefits. What the FEHB entails is the FEHB program, it helps employees and their families to meet healthcare needs. Federal employees, retirees, and their supervisors enjoy the wide selection of health plans, in this country. They can choose from among the consumer-driven and high deductible plans, health savings, reimbursable accounts, lower premiums, fee-for-service, preferred provider, PPO. So when can an employee sign up for health insurance coverage? So new employees or reinstatements. Reinstatements are your career employees or career condition employees that have had a break in service of 90 days or more. So new employees reinstatements with a break of 90 days or more have up to 60 days to elect coverage. Temporary employees on an appointment of a year and a day. You have to have be on an appointment for a year and a day in order to be eligible for coverage. They have up to 60 days to elect that coverage. Temporary employees on an appointment limited to 1 year or less need to work 130 hours per month or at least 90 days. Now, some of the things that that will allow you to change, that allow you to elect FEHB outside of the 90 days window is if there's a qualifying life event. And basically what a qualifying life event it tells is that you can select coverage or change it either due to a birth of a child, marriage, divorce, or a court order. Okay. Flexible savings account. Flexible savings account allows employees to save money for healthcare expenses with healthcare or limited expense healthcare FSA. Basically, it's like a savings account. And you pay for items that you typically aren't covered for under FEHB. So it's kind of like a supplement. The federal employees dental and vision insurance plan or health insurance coverage. It also offers an account for families with young children and elder care expenses, the dependent care FSA, which allows employees to set aside money, to pay for daycare expenses. And employees can apply through their website. Now there is the FEDVIP, which is the Federal Employment Dental and Vision Insurance Program. So benefits administers the enrollment and premium payment processes. And it's basically, like I said, it's the dental and vision insurance program. And benefits will guide you through verifying, the eligibility. You could be able to manage, your plans yourself. You can go through the benefits website to manage, to view your plans and to your payment history. Okay, another is the FEGLI. So basically, FEGLI, what FEGLI entails is life, it's insurance. It's basic insurance, and it's effective on the first day, employees is in a pay and duty status. Option A and B coverage is effective on the first day in a pay status, or after the day the human resources management system receives their election. Option C coverage is effective on Option C in coverage is effective on the day that the human resource management system receives their election without regard to pay and duty status. Now, just note, children are covered until they are 22 under their parent insurance coverage. Next, so with the FEGLI, an employee can decrease their life insurance, but they cannot increase it unless there is a qualifying life event. As discussed, it's the birth of a child, marriage, or divorce, or at least 1 year has passed since the effective date of their most recent waiver of life insurance, in which you have to complete the SF 2822. Or an error by HRMS has occurred to process the election. Those are the only, only stipulations. So with FEGLI, most employees are eligible for FEGLI. It provides that term life insurance. It does not build up any cash value or paid up value. It's just basic life insurance coverage, and it has the 3 options. If you're new employees, they're automatically covered by the basic life insurance, and the payroll office deduct the premiums from their paycheck unless they waive the coverage. So if you want to waive, if you don't want that coverage, you will have to waive it. And there are 3 forms of the optional insurance that they elect. Thrift saving plan. What is thrift saving plan? Basically, it's life insurance plan. It's like your it's like 401. It's similar to the 401k that's offered to the private sector employees. It's basically, it's in a nutshell, it's your retirement plan. It's your retirement and your investment plan. And the TSP is part of a retirement benefit package. It includes the Social Security, the FERS, basic annuity, and CSRS annuity. New employees or reinstatements that had, a break in service of 90 days or more can sign up immediately. Retirement employees who have a TSP account would basically receive the same account number. And transfers meaning employees that have worked at a different agency that's transferring to this agency will continue the contribution. Okay. FMLA. Oh, one thing to note is that with TSP, you are automatically covered. So if you're a new employee, you're automatically covered. And you can change your TSP. You're automatically covered up to 3%, but you can change it at any time, or you can change the percentage, or you can change it to a dollar amount. And that can be done in MyPay. So just keep that in mind. FMLA, the Family and Medical Leave Act. So basically, the Family and Medical Leave Act, it entitles employees, covered employees, to take unpaid job protected leave for medical reasons. Some of the medical reasons can include like a birth of a child. When employees are eligible and entitled to take FMLA, rules apply. There are certain stipulations. VLTP. Under the Voluntary Leave Transfer Program, excuse me, a covered employee may donate leave directly to another employee who has a personal or family medical emergency or has exhausted their leave. And if in a, is there there is not a limit. There's no limit to the amount of donated leave that you may leave to a recipient or to a donor. However, any unused donated leave must be returned to the donor when the medical emergency ends. So basically, in a nutshell, with the VLTP, you can donate, like if you have an excessive amount of leave that you would like to donate to someone that has gone on, that has requested to be placed on as a leave donor, you can donate your leave to them to assist, with their leave, or to give them leave in the event that there is some type of personal or family medical emergency. Now, you will have to, if there is if the donor has to request to be placed on a list, and you can donate your leave. But it has to be for emergency or medical reasons. You can't just donate leave to someone just because. It has to be for a medical reason. FLTCIP, the Federal Leave Long-Term Care Insurance Program. So basically, this provides long-term care insurance to help pay for costs when the employee needs help with activities they perform every day, or if you have like a severe cognitive impairment. Most employees and annuitants and their qualified relatives are eligible under this program. Okay. So are there any questions regarding the benefits, or any questions at all?
Thank you. I will jump in. We do have lots of questions out there, so I will go ahead and turn it over to either you, Monica, or we can toss it out to anyone else who has joined us on the VA side to do questions. All right, let's go into this. Appreciate everyone who has asked questions, and I appreciate you answering some of those that came through the chat. So I'm moving over into the Q&A feature. I know, let's go back. There were a few questions specific to the legal administrative specialist positions. And where do they apply for those positions? Is it on USA Jobs? Can they go on Indeed? Is there another site where they need to go to apply for those positions?
You would go to usajobs.gov.
Great, thanks. All right. Are the non-competitive hires that you have mentioned, are those focused on high need shortages or some other criteria?
So there are, it's both. If there's a need to fill a position for a project or something with a short suspense, basically, when hiring managers request to utilize the special hiring authorities, it's because of a need to fill a position quickly. It may be due to, as stated, a special project, or just to bypass the competition, meaning via USA Jobs. So it's a quick way to let me turn this off. It's a quick way to hire someone without the need of competition. So there are several variables why the special hiring authorities are requested or utilized.
Great, thanks for that. And there were a lot of questions just talking about the different authorities and how to go about getting those types of jobs. So that's good. All right. This question is for Ms. Britton. Kenesha, do you have any remote positions at the locations that you mentioned? I believe it was St. Louis, Nashville, and Jacksonville. Are you hiring from a remote status to fulfill those positions? Okay, I will move on to the next, unless there's somebody else that can answer that question. Are there remote positions available for any of the positions discussed? Are you hiring in a remote status?
Hi, Marnie. I believe that there was an answer to this previously on the chat side, and that remote option may be possible after that a certain time is met with that, but they are not specifically hiring for remote positions right now.
Hi, Dr. Castillo. So this is Kenesha Britton. I'm sorry, I was having challenges getting off mute. We are not currently hiring for the LAS positions as remote positions. However, once hired, those positions are telework eligible. So there's a difference between remote and virtual positions. We are not hiring in a remote nor virtual capacity. However, those positions are telework eligible. So once the eligibility requirements have been met for telework, you are able to telework. But that also depends on the location. So I would say take a look at the announcements that are coming out, and that is clearly spelled out in the announcement as to whether or not telework is offered for that location.
Great, thank you, Kenesha. All right, we do have a lot of questions that have come in just talking about specific areas. And I would just encourage those that are interested to perhaps register for the hiring event we've got tomorrow. You'll be able to talk directly with many of these representatives and others about jobs in certain locations and areas. Also go to the resources that they've provided on their website and screen to just see where else they are hiring. I know we're getting close on time, so I didn't want to, got so many questions. I want to make sure I try to get as many as I can. All right, this is one question. It's just kind of talking in broad terms. Does the term military spouse include veteran spouse when applying for the VBA?
I will defer to Monica for that.
So a military spouse is someone, well, you can refer to a veteran spouse because it is someone that is married to a veteran. And they can either, as stated, they can utilize the veteran's preference and the documents that are required are the letter, the DD-214, the marriage certificate. So you have to, furnish some type of proof that you are married to a veteran. So, the orders. And that if they have a service-connected disability, that as well.
This is Margarita. If I could chime in there too, I think the question was more about perhaps the different eligibilities for hiring. So there is a military spouse direct hiring authority, which allows a spouse of an active duty military member who is on PCS orders to get special hiring authority. And that was the reference to having military orders documentation. And that is a specific legal hiring authority for that class of folks who are currently active duty military spouses of active duty members. Then there is a separate hiring authority that is for survivors of veterans who are deceased based on service-connected disabilities and spouses of veterans who are permanently and totally disabled. So two different criteria for different folks, but I just wanted to make sure it was clear that there are two different criteria, and there are resources that we can provide after this that are on the web that can help you sort of just look at whether any of these criteria would apply to you or not.
Thank you for clarifying, Ms. Devlin. I think that is a great clarification for the different categories. All right, let's go into another question here. There's a lot about specific cases and understanding if they are eligible for certain authorities. For those of you that are asking those questions, I would encourage you to reach out or contact a veteran benefits advisor. They will tell you about your specific case and what you would qualify for. How do you apply non-competitively using a special hiring authority through USA Jobs, or is there another? I think this was covered, but just in case for reference, again, if you could restate.
I apologize. Can you repeat that question once more?
Sorry, that was how do you apply non-competitively to use a special hiring authority?
So you can submit your you can contact someone within the VBA and submit your documents. You can contact someone within personnel with your documents up.
This is Margarita, and just to add to that, thank you. One other thing that you'll want to pay attention to, as I talk to people who apply for federal jobs on USA Jobs, I sometimes hear, although the site is pretty intuitive, sometimes it's the attention to detail that will help you get the best chance at getting the job. So when we talk about the evidence that you need to submit or the supporting materials, what you're going to want to do is when you go to the job announcement, pay very close attention to the requirements for documents they're going to want you to submit. So for example, it'll have, sometimes we do recruitments that are specific to groups of individuals who would meet these criteria, such as veterans or military spouses. But what you're going to want to look for is there will be a section on the job announcement that will say, if you're applying for a special authority, here are the documents you need to submit. And I would just ask you to be very careful about making sure you submit all those documents, but all these instructions will be on each job announcement. Now, if you can also, if you're at a job fair or somewhere and you just want to sort of apply for a job on the spot, for example, such as this situation, you can also bring a copy of your resume. If you're a veteran, your DD-214 is always sort of a given requirement. And if you're a military spouse, again, PCS orders for your spouse who's actively serving. And then, of course, if you are VRA eligible because of a service-connected disability, we always say, please don't give us your actual service-connected disability rating. We shouldn't know the specifics around your rating, but there is a letter you can download yourself on ebenefits.va.gov, which will pull into your VA record and simply document on that letter that you are 30% or more service connected. And that's your documentation for that. There's also a couple of forms that you'll see. I don't remember the form numbers, but they're on USA Jobs, and it will tell you which form you need to document your veteran's preference. And then you can go to the link to download the form and fill it out. So I guess the main message I really want to give here is really pay attention to the instructions on the job announcements, and that'll help you get everything that you need.
Excellent. So here's one question before I go into the last question to wrap us up. So first one is there such thing as a transfer from one federal agency to another, anything that does not involve applying via USA Jobs? If someone were in a federal agency and wanting to join VA or VBA, what would that process be?
We do support interagency transfers, but I would have to go back to the previous answer that was given by Ms. Devlin. Refer to the announcement, and on there, when you go through USA Jobs, it will ask a series of questions. One of those is, are you a current or previous federal employee?
Got it. Thanks, Kanisha. All right, this is our last question before we go into our closing remarks, and it's very appropriate because it's talking about tomorrow's virtual career fair that we're hosting. Is it solely for roles with the VA as discussed? Is there any way for us to view the open roles that will be shown tomorrow prior to the event? If so, where is that at?
So I can speak from a VA perspective. So from a VBA perspective, the only position that we are highlighting for tomorrow is our LAS position. So our legal administrative specialist for our call center. And just to reiterate, we are hiring for 3 of our locations. That's Salt Lake, that's St. Louis, Jacksonville, and Nashville.
Great, thank you. And before I turn it back to Dr. Castillo for some closing remarks, I did just want to put in a teaser for tomorrow's virtual career fair. We are having one. It is federal agencies that are hiring, VA and VBA being one of those federal agencies that's joining. And if you are interested in that, you can go to our hiringourheroes.org website to register. It's /events, hiringourheroes.org/events. And if you can't get in for tomorrow, we are going to be scheduling another future federal employment event because we have such a large interest from job seekers out there looking for federal employment across all agencies. So with that, I want to turn it over to Dr. Castillo for some closing remarks before I wrap things up.
Dr. Castillo, just for a point of clarification, because I've seen this come up in the chat a few times, when Jacksonville, North Carolina is the location.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Marnie. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Hiring Our Heroes, for this great opportunity to connect with potential team members. Ms. Devlin, ma'am, thank you so much for the time and your help in answering some of the questions. We appreciate your support in this effort. And to all of the participants, thank you for joining us and considering VA as a career choice. We hope that you decide to join our VBA team or in any other capacity within the VA writ large. And even though we are looking at filling the LAS positions tomorrow, please don't let that stop you from going on to USA Jobs and finding something that works for you, and because we'd love to see you on our team. Ma'am, I don't know if you have anything that you would like to close with, but if not, that is all that we have to say, and we look forward to talking with you more.
Thank you. This is Margarita. The only thing I would say is I know that we've been answering some of the Q&A behind the scenes. If there's any questions we didn't get to, I would encourage you, if you are a veteran or a service member or a military spouse or anybody else seeking to join the team and you still have questions, especially as it pertains to your benefits and getting your preference letters or anything like that, feel free to call us. There is always a phone number on the job announcement. So even if it's a job announcement you're not ready to apply for at the moment right now, but you find a job announcement for the kind of job you're interested in, there will always be a phone number on there to call and you can ask a question. The other thing I wanted to say is I've noticed some of the questions are around, hey, I applied for a job, not sure what happened. That same phone number that's on the job announcement, I always encourage people, print out the job announcement for the job you're applying for and keep it handy because once the announcement closes, it sort of disappears from the site. And go back, and if you have a question, the HR specialist who worked on that announcement can tell you the exact reasons that you maybe didn't qualify on the certificate. For example, I've had people who, when they called, they were told, you know, one of the requirements on the job announcement was that you provide a transcript of your college, and unfortunately, you didn't provide that college transcript, therefore it disqualified you from the job. And I also always tell people, don't get discouraged. If you don't get a job that you apply for, there are many other jobs we are recruiting for. Take those lessons learned if you have something like that, an experience like that, to help you in the next time you apply for a job. So I hope you're interested in joining our wonderful team. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to everybody who provided information on this video.
Thank you, Ms. Devlin. Thank you, Dr. Castillo. Thank you for the entire team for joining us today. Lots of good information. As you can see at the bottom of your screen right now, hiringourheroes.org/career community is where you can register for upcoming events or view any of these sessions in our community hub This session is recorded, as are the other sessions. And if you're looking to register for the events, it is hiringourheroes.org/events. If you don't get in for tomorrow, we do have another one in the near future. So look forward to having you join us. Thanks again, and stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.